Question: can NLP help you meet and date the men who attract you, especially when it comes to overcoming your nerves, self-doubt and anxiety that so often hold you back? Keep watching to find out. Hi, Leslie Hornsby here. For those that tune in regularly, you'll know that the focus of my channel is NLP techniques and communication skills, ideas about human psychology, and an exploration of how a variety of approaches can help you learn to master your emotions and develop a much more positive view of your world, even when the going gets tough. And if that sounds something that might interest you, then by all means click subscribe and you'll be notified regularly of any new videos that I publish. Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, let me just address the commonly held belief that neuro-linguistic programming is primarily about manipulation and, in the case of dating, seduction. The truth is, like any tool, it's entirely down to the user's motivation. Learning how to create rapport with someone is the bedrock of building any relationship. And if you're able to generate that more easily by applying a variety of NLP techniques, then surely that's a positive thing and can only serve to smooth the channels of communication. Used with integrity, whether you're a man or a woman, NLP can inject life into your social life and help you date with more confidence. Perhaps the most nerve-wracking step is making that first move. And if you're anything like me, it was always the point where I needed to actually make contact with someone that I found the real killer. It's all very well fantasizing about how things might go, but unless you act upon those fantasies, nothing good is ever going to happen. Whether it's going old school, seeing someone across a crowded room, or making the first move online, getting past your fear is the first hurdle. What fears are we talking about? Well, it's often the fear around the possibility of humiliation, rejection, not feeling good enough. The list just goes on. All these kinds of anxieties are just limiting beliefs, to be honest. We're very good at coming up with reasons why we shouldn't take risks and creating whole scenarios to back up those reasons. Have you, for instance, ever sat there debating with yourself that there's no way a man's going to say yes to me? Or what if he laughs at me for thinking that he'd find me attractive? Men my age want women much younger, or I'm not attractive anymore, my age has caught up with me. I've become invisible when it comes to attracting men, and on and on and on. What I find interesting is that none of these limiting beliefs are rooted in a fear of physical danger. Our risk aversion originated from the need to guard against physical jeopardy. And I'm sure you've heard of the fight or flight response that's associated with life-threatening situations. However, the chemicals generated by our fear don't differentiate between emotional and physical danger. The physiological response is exactly the same. Understanding this contradiction can empower you to begin to control this sensation. By deciding to interpret your fear as, say, excitement, which neurologically speaking is almost identical to the sensation of fear, you can begin to manage those feelings more effectively. When you feel that rush of energy flood your system when you're anxious, concentrate on viewing it as excitement and all the positive energy that generally comes with that emotion. You can achieve this by harnessing some specific NLP techniques that assist you in what's known in NLP as state management. So what is state management? Basically, your state is defined by your emotions, physiology, and thinking. The management bit is learning to modify both physical and emotional in order to support rather than block you. It's a case of unearthing the underlying belief about yourself that has led to the self-doubt and then challenging it, in part by altering the associated emotional response that those thoughts evoke. First step is to identify your state. You achieve this by paying attention to how you feel physically, what is currently occupying your thoughts, as well as your emotional state and the sensations caused by those emotions. Once you've worked through those reflections, consider how they empower or limit you. Does your current state feel good? If not, it's time to work on changing it. Neuro-linguistic programming can help you to develop the type of self-awareness that you need for effective state management. No surprise that this takes practice and guidance in applying the techniques involved, which, by the way, is effective in all aspects of life that you find challenging, not just when it comes to dating. I've helped many people to master state management and overcome poor confidence, anxiety, and self-doubt. So if this sounds like something that you think might work for you and you'd like to explore it more, then by all means get in touch. You can use the link below to contact me. Once you have a handle on your own behavioural responses, you can also improve your success rate with the opposite sex by implementing a few other NLP techniques. As I mentioned at the start, rapport is essential to any relationship, particularly in the very early stages. And why does everyone bang on about rapport? Because rapport is the basis of meaningful, close and harmonious relationships between people. It's what creates a connection that forges trust and liking. You will certainly have experienced this yourself. I'm sure you can remember an occasion when you warmed to someone whose point of view you understood and discovered that you shared one another's values and priorities in life. I have a favourite axiom, which is people like them, which is a succinct way of saying that we feel most comfortable around those who are like us. There are a number of ways that you can consciously build rapport quickly and easily. One technique we often do naturally is mirroring and matching. This just means copying the other person's body language, mannerisms, and adapting your language to echo their word use. Let's start with mirroring then. Mirroring refers to the simultaneous copying of the behaviour of another person, as if reflecting their movements back to them. When it's done with respect and discretion, mirroring creates a positive feeling and responsiveness in you and the other person. You should pay attention to the unconscious elements of the man you're interested in as you talk, such as physiology and tonality. Together, these two elements comprise an estimated 93% of our communication. Paying attention to just these two elements can make you most aligned with him without his being conscious of it. Now, unlike mirroring, matching has a sort of built-in time lag. For example, if your guy touches his face and leans slightly inward while speaking, wait a few seconds and then discreetly adopt the same posture. Now, matching language and vocal patterns takes a bit more practice. And as with body mirroring, you need to be very subtle, otherwise it can come across as mockery. Tone and inflection are a key aspect of verbal communication, as well as rate and volume. So don't forget, this is most effective when done indirectly. Adopt subtle adjustments in your normal voice so that it more closely reflects his, but don't overdo it. Your mirrored voice should never be radically different from your own. And obviously don't copy his tonality outright. You don't want to end up with a comedy voice like trying to drop your pitch too much and end up sounding manly. You can also look out for his rate of speech. If, for example, he speaks slowly and deliberately, the quickest way to break rapport is to clash by speaking too quickly. Matching the guy's pace can create a sense of alignment and allows you to more easily match his energy level. And don't forget, matching his pace should be natural and subtle. When it comes to aligning your word choice, try identifying his sensory basis. And what I mean by that is that most people tend to favour one of 4 types of sensory-based systems that help them understand the world and experiences. The words we choose to describe these experiences are indicators of our primary representational system. Now, there are usually a number of key words that reveal a person's underlying PRS. For example, if he comments, "I see what you're saying," that would indicate that he favours a visual representation. If, on the other hand, he said, "I hear what you're saying," then guess what? His bias leans to the auditory. Adapting your communication style to match his and using similar words will help build rapport and a meaningful connection. By the way, most people integrate all 4 systems in their vocabulary, but they do tend to favour one in particular, either innately or from context. So there you have it, just a little bit of advice and some strategies to help you with meeting your match. And I wish you all the luck in the world. And just to say that NLP is an effective and versatile approach to a variety of mental challenges, whether it's about approaching dating with confidence, overcoming your self-doubt, or banishing those limiting beliefs. And with all that in mind, if you feel you're struggling to get past any of it, then you may find talking it over with an NLP specialist could help you. And you can reach me by using the contact link that I've added below. It just lets you make a 30-minute appointment with me for a preliminary, obligation-free chat, after which you can decide if you want to book some coaching or not. And if you'd like to know more about NLP generally, you can also find a link to a free guide that covers some of the fundamental techniques. Don't forget to click subscribe to be notified of new videos I post every week. And in the meantime, thank you very much for your company. I hope you can join me again next time on more for living your best life. Bye for now.